Well-being is an incredibly underrated mechanic which is often confused for happiness. You see, well-being controls how fast or how slow your beavers actually work. By maintaining your well-being above a certain level, you can boost up your beavers' working speed, their movement speed, as well as their life expectancy. But that's not all, because well-being also determines how fast your beavers grow up. That's right, these little fellas over here, you might notice them sitting around at campfires, they also get well-being bonuses. During the early game, you have access to campfires, and you also have access to rooftop terraces. You don't need to place a lot of these. As you can see with this campfire over here, we have a single campfire supporting around 20 people, and it's capable of supporting a lot more than that. Placing just one of these buildings will help your colony a lot. Another way to boost up your well-being is rooftop terraces. However, you don't need to place them on top of houses. I'm interested in having another warehouse for food over here, so I'm just gonna place it over here and place the rooftop terrace on top, which can connect with the path up here. That way we get all the benefits of a rooftop terrace without actually needing to build staircases, which are really expensive in the early game. However, most of these well-being options over here require your beavers to actually seek them out and go over there to do it. There's also a passive way to increase well-being. For that, you need to scroll down on this list over here and you will find aesthetics. As you can see, we have placed a shrub over here, which is just a single shrub, and it is somehow satisfying more than half of our colony's needs. That is insane. You might be interested in placing them where beavers usually pass by, however there is a more interesting way to do this. This is where the beavers are getting their food, and they usually come over here a lot. So if I'm placing a shrub over here, you can see that the warehouse on the right is also getting highlighted fully, which means that any beaver visiting that warehouse will also be getting this aesthetics bonus, even if they don't actually cross this path. We're gonna be stacking two bonuses over here right on top of each other. For that, we might need to spend some science points, but that's fine. That's what science is for. Actually, now that we think about it, we don't actually want this place to have carrots because we want all of our beavers to go over here. This trick also works with workplaces. So for example, by placing a lantern over here, all the beavers getting water from this place, as well as working in these adjacent buildings, will be getting the bonus from this lantern up here. As you can see, the beavers are inside, however, their lantern bonuses are basically full. There are also plenty of other ways to boost these numbers up. For example, if we build the roofs over here, all the beavers living in these houses, these three houses over here, will get the bonus for this. If you just have two houses next to each other, you can also take advantage of the 1x1 roof, which is easier to build, but it will provide the bonus to both of the houses. And while you're at it, make sure you place some contemplation spots as well, because beavers love thinking about life while looking at another beaver. However, the real question is, where exactly do you place these? Well, you're supposed to place them near your beavers' houses, because as soon as their working hours end, they all head to their houses and they hang outside it, waiting for stuff to do. If there is a service available, they will head to it and they will, satisfy their needs. But generally speaking, if you place the well-being buildings close to their houses, they're all going to use it. It might take them a couple of days to balance them out, but as long as this popularity thing isn't full over here during their off hours, you're perfectly fine. That also brings us to this working hours thing over here. You can decrease or increase their working hours whenever you want. For the most part, the only consequence is that they're not going to have time to satisfy their needs. So right now, beavers are pretty much just using these 4 hours over here to satisfy their, well-being stuff. If we look at the contemplation spot as well, it's basically the same 4 hours. So while in the early game you could increase their working hours, it's always a good idea to take it back down so they can actually, make themselves happy and work faster. A few additional working hours in a lot of scenarios are not worth as much as a 40% boost to their working speed. Do not underestimate this at all. The 40% boost is a lot. Combined with the movement speed bonus, oh boy. A colony without any well-being is significantly weaker than a colony with a decent well-being. Especially because well-being bonuses also apply to production. So this 40% working speed bonus also increases the rate at which you produce stuff over here. My favorite way to get well-being is just stacking things at their houses. For example, this wind gauge over here is going to provide all the sleeping beavers with an additional bonus. It's basically spawn camping them. And honestly speaking, this bonus is significant enough for me to move these houses over here, instead of letting them stay outside of the bonus area. So rotating this thing apparently doesn't matter because it rotates, according to the wind direction. Oh boy. Let's take a look at this beaver, okay? It's not in the wind gauge range right now. And this guy is gonna go in here and sleep. But because this house is in range of this wind gauge, the wind gauge needs just go up. It's really as easy as that. Since beavers are going to be visiting this well-being stuff anyway, you can also place these decorations right next to your campfires and your rooftop terraces. That way, the beavers which visit it actually satisfy multiple needs at the same time. And finally, as soon as you have your wood production figured out, you should work towards a grill. Because these things can let you roast potatoes. Sorry, grilled potatoes. These grills basically use a single potato crop and turn it into 4 grilled potatoes, which by their own might not seem as efficient, but the best thing about grilled potatoes is that they provide a well-being bonus of 2. Yup. Combine that with these sunflower seeds that we've been planting and which are going to be yielding really soon, we are about to have a bunch of really happy beavers, okay? All of these bonuses that the beavers get during the night last throughout the day. So as long as there are some decent aesthetics around their house, they're gonna be happy throughout the day, and you don't need to decorate the rest of your colony, okay? So it's been an entire day and this person has not really returned back to their place. However, they still keep all the bonuses and their stats remain boosted throughout the day. Make sure you also add a couple of medical beds so your injured beavers can heal themselves. Don't be afraid of it, you don't really need anything else, just a medical bed is enough so your injured beavers can just go there, rest, and walk it off. Because injured beavers basically do not work. They refuse to work as long as they're injured, and that's not okay. Everyone must work in this place. Your primary goal, at least in the early game, should be to get to a well-being of 15 with minimum effort. So most of it should be through passive stuff like this, okay? Not through active stuff. The reason being that at 15 you get a working speed bonus of 60%. Which is insane, by the way. Because that means both of these efficient farmhouses are actually working at a speed that would be faster than 3 farmhouses instead of just these 2. And it's a similar case with the water pumps as well. I have 2 water pumps over here for my beavers and they are able to sustain water for pretty much everyone. I don't think we're gonna need to upgrade anything anytime soon. Yeah, we're just gonna move these roofs a little bit because I need to make some room for something over here, okay? Oh, by the way, the developers did not forget about these bonuses when they were making the power wheel, okay? It's supposed to give 50, but it's giving 57. Yeah, because this guy has a 15% bonus to their movement speed. Perfect. Anyway, I think we have enough research points saved up. Yeah, so let's just place a beaver statue over here. This thing has enormous range as well, okay? So all of the beavers living here, which is basically my entire colony, are gonna love it. You know what, we're already at 18, let's see if we can push it to 20. The nice thing about this is that they also get a wet fur bonus as well as they get to have fun over here. Yeah, so since we have more than enough wood right now, like I'm not kidding, we basically have so many oak trees waiting to be harvested. Let's come over here to this last tab and get ourselves a monument. Is this overkill? Yes. Do we have the science points? No, we're gonna have to wait. Now I have the luxury of waiting for the science points to, pop up, but you might not. In which case you might need some other way to generate happiness. I'm basically planting chestnut trees back here, which are going to provide us with chestnuts, which can also be roasted by a grill. We'll need to place another grill for it, however, but that's really fine. Which would be a bonus of 2 over here, boosting up our working speed to a whopping 80%. And if you don't have any wood issues in your colony as well, you should also save up for a monument and place it next to your residential area. I don't want to call it a residential district because district is something else in this game, this place over here. But hey, for all intents and purposes, this is a residential district. Now this monument is going to take forever to build, however the best thing about it is that I believe, yeah, it provides a bonus of 3 instead of just 2 or 1. And there we have it. Our colony's average happiness is now at 21, which is giving us some really decent bonuses, by the way. For example, these amazing beavers over here can work 80% faster. They can move 30% faster, which means they can also work faster, by the way, because a lot of their job involves, moving back and forth in places. And they live longer. 40% longer, by the way. Which might be a negative thing depending on, your playstyle. By the way, getting to Wellbeing 25 isn't really that difficult. With just some chestnuts and maybe some other crops, you will be able to do that really easily. We can't right now because we don't have metals. So that's why I was, working towards this. But I think this video is enough for you guys to figure the rest out on your own. If you enjoyed this, smash that subscribe button, like the video, and I will see you guys next time on Timberborn, where I have actually been playing diorama on hard mode. And the next video on that is literally going to be me doing this over there, making my beavers happy. Because I completely neglected well-being in that playthrough for the time being. Well, not anymore. Join me if you're interested in that, and bye!